Hey guys, subscribe for daily content. And if you're shopping for gear, make sure you check out the description for the newest items at some of the very best online retailers. There's also links for some of the items that I personally recommend. Thanks! What's going on YouTube? Metal Complex here, and today I've got a short little knife review slash knife overview to share with you guys. This is the Miguron Centurion, and it's the budget version of the knife. There are two versions. There's the premium version and the budget version. I'll link them all down in the description. There's actually quite a few different variations just for the budget version, and there's a really good price on it. And as per usual, Miguron, they just kill it in the budget territory especially. So I urge you to check out not only this knife, but the other knives in their line. Thank you so much to Miguron for sending this in. Thanks to my patrons for supporting me. And please make sure to follow me on Instagram at metal_complex. Let's go ahead and get a measurement of this knife. Overall length of the Centurion coming in at 8 inches. Blade length is about 3.5. Cutting edge is about 3.35. How about some size comparisons? Custom scales for any of the knives that you see in the size comparison knives can be found down in the description through either Original Goat or Flightanium. So up against the Demco AD10, you can see it's not quite that big. Up against the Demco AD20.5, it's similar. It's a little bit bigger. How about up against the Spyderco PM2? And the Spyderco Para 3, there we go. About the same size, not quite the same size as the Spyderco PM2. And then finally, let's put it up against the Benchmade Griptilian, or in this case, the Ritter Hogue. And let's put it up against the Hogue Deca, just because it looks cool. I like those Original Goat scales on there. All right, how's the action? Much like every other Miguron I've handled, the action's very, very good. It's almost completely and totally falls shut. I think the blade's not huge, but it feels like there's a lot of weight in it. I mean, honestly, the whole thing just feels very, very nicely tuned. The D10 is nice. The flipper tab is nice. The thumb studs could have used some texturing. I mean, they're just barrels. They did chamfer them and kind of round them off, but it's like I always say, I'm sure you guys are sick of hearing it, but the best thumb studs are the ones on the Rat 1. They just work a lot better. But the flipper tab works just fine, and you can easily manipulate this knife. The action is good. It runs on bearings. Access to the liner lock is good. There's no double clutch or anything like that. Carry profile. Thickness up against the Spyderco Para 3. Wow, it's a little bit thick. Miguron likes to do that. Miguron, nest your liners. I know that's a little bit more expensive, and they're already giving us some cool stuff like the tie pocket clip, but try nesting the liners just so we can reduce the thickness. It's kind of like the same thing as the Moyarl and some other budget models that they've done. They end up being really thick. Not that they don't feel good, because this definitely does. They're contoured. It's nice. But I think maybe we could get these a little bit thinner and still have that same, solid feeling in hand. Length and height up against the PM2 and the Para 3. Where is the PM2? Really? Oh, there it is. So it's a little shorter than the PM2. It's definitely a little bit longer than the Para 3. Maximum height, it's still not really approaching even the height of the hump there. So really, you're going to notice the thickness versus those knives in the pocket. If you've been carrying knives of this size, you might not notice it so much, but it is a little bit thicker than a lot of knives in its general zone. Materials. We have G10, 14C28N, nice sort of two-tone tumbled and satin finished. And then we have steel for the liners, but we have titanium for the pocket clip, which is usually what you get with Miguron knives. There is some milling for weight reduction on the inside, by the way. I think this comes in at least 3 different colors of G10, perhaps more. Little on the heavier side for a knife of this size, 4.55 ounces. Not really a deal breaker though. I mean, it's not going to be perfectly balanced, but few things are, and even when they are, it doesn't really give you that much of an advantage. So it just depends on what you've been carrying. I don't find this to be a titanically oversized knife, and I doubt many people will. Let's go ahead and measure the blade stock thickness. So blade stock thickness of the Centurion coming in at 125. Nope, going to be 133 according to my calipers here, so that's almost right in the middle of the road. How about we do a hardware check? I'll get out my tools as per usual. My tools are very inexpensive and very recommendable. You can find these right down in the section of my description that talks about the tools I use on this channel. T8 for the pivot, T8 for the body screw, which there's only one of. That's nice. They probably have a lipped mount holding the rest of this backspacer in. And then Do we even have T8 for the pocket clip screws? Yeah, we do. We do. No lefty mounting position, which is a bummer, but it's all T8, which is fantastic. As long as you have the right tools for the job, you should be good to go. Let's go ahead and move into the meat and potatoes here. The Centurion profile is fine. It's really the only thing that's a little awkward. There's two things that are a little awkward about this knife. Number one, it just is. It feels a little bit thick. It's kind of the same thing that I said about the Miguron, but it's even thicker. It's not terrible, and because the scales are chamfered at the edges and contoured, it's a pretty good feeling. You can even choke up right here, which is kind of nice. They should have put a little jimping right here. They didn't, no big deal, but I think they should have. The other thing that's a little weird is the thumb stud's way out of here into the cutting path. Most of us cut at an angle, but if you do cut straight down, it's going to run right into those thumb studs. So I think we probably could have backed them up a bit, or maybe just removed them entirely. But as far as the quirkiness of anything about this knife goes, that's pretty much it. I mean, everything else is very, very straightforward. Miguron has some of the best manufacturing quality in the budget territory. Curiously, as nice as their premium knives are, they're not quite where I want them to be. I feel like they're close to hitting a home run in the premium territory, and they got some really great prices. For some reason, their quality is executed, I think, better versus the competition. That's the right way to put that. Better versus the competition in the budget territory. Some of the nicest budget knives on planet Earth are made by Miguron. Definitely. And this is no exception. It's really, really nice. I like where they put the logo, right? Quality of the G10 just looks fantastic. Contoured, chamfered, right? Not in a lazy way, anywhere. 14T28N, if you don't know, is one of the most balanced compositions on Earth. It is fantastic in terms of edge retention, toughness, corrosion resistance, and ease of maintenance, especially considering where it is, right, in terms of price. This is a sub $50 knife. It's one of the best compositions that you can get in this territory. Of course, what's even more important than the composition or the Rockwell hardness is the geometry of the blade, because that's really what's going to determine, in combination with the composition and the Rockwell hardness, that's really what's going to determine how it performs. This is a sort of medium edge. It's definitely not thin, but it's also, I'm not going to say it's horribly thick. It will cut, it will slice. This is a blade profile and geometry that Miguron just loves. It's like every other knife that they make is a similar geometry. For some reason, I couldn't get that to bite there for a second. I think it was because of how I was holding the paper. And, oh, there we go. I was going to say, surely that will bite. I'm sorry. Just sometimes I'm dumb when I'm holding the paper. It will, but you can see it's lifting the edges just a bit. And when it does that on paper, it's factory edge. Of course, you can reprofile it and make it whatever you want. But when it's doing something like this on paper, that means your experience cutting thick cardboard, styrofoam, rubber is going to be that much tougher. For most people, it's going to be fine. You get it out, you open a package with it, you put it back in your pocket. It's only continuous use on dense and abrasive materials where you might notice there's an issue there. But for the most part, you're going to be okay. Decent tip, decent amount of belly, should be very, very easy to touch up. And those are the things I think that are, really the most important. Exposed liners, that's fine. We have a little bit of a backspacer, which is made out of G10 as well. Like I said, no position for lefties. That's a bummer. We should be milling out spots for lefties. But you do get a titanium pocket clip, which seems like, well, who cares? The cheapest titanium pocket clips that we see aftermarket they're usually like $20. Considering the total price of this knife is $50, I'm gonna say that's a big factor there. That's a huge percentage, right? Obviously, titanium clips don't cost $20 to make. There's markup built into that, but you get the whole package together, and what is this, $49? Yeah. And it's not like you're getting, oh wow, a tie clip, but sloppy tolerances. No. Miguron's quality is really good. It's excellent. Some of the best out there, right? The fit and finish on this knife is perfect. It's really that great. There's a lock bar. Oh, not lock bar. There's a stop pin back here located in the traditional position. No shouldering, but it's okay. It doesn't need it. Like I said, it runs on bearings. No blade play up, down, left, or right. No lock stick. No double clutch. No pivot lash. Very smooth, very consistent action in here, and a nice detent tuned well enough for flipping action or thumb stud action, and of course we have perfect centering with no detent lash. Yeah, it's a pretty good knife. It's got a couple of quirky little things there, but I mean, who can argue? It's a little thick. Thumb studs are in the cutting path. If you like how this looks, this is a great buy. I mean, a lot of the stuff that I've seen out there that's better is offered by Miguron. You will pay on average $20 more for this exact same thing from almost any other company. It's just factually true. So yeah, this is a good one. It's certainly not the best in their line, but it is still miles ahead of a lot of the competition out there. This is a recommendable knife. It's also a cheap knife that I like, so I'll be putting it in my cheap knives I like playlist. That's going to be pretty much it today, guys. Short and sweet. Please make sure to follow me on Instagram at metal_complex. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like. If you'd like to check out my other content, I do, of course, have lots of videos of knives that are either expensive or inexpensive that I do or don't like, so check those out. And if you enjoy all my content, go ahead and click on that Metal Complex logo right there and subscribe because there's definitely more coming. Thanks again for watching, everybody, and have a great day.